Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to On Mars. Unfortunately, time itself conspired against us yesterday, and so I was not able to get a second recording in. The first one ran a little longer than I thought it was going to, but could not keep me away forever. I am back, and we are definitely going to play a couple more games of this today. I don't know exactly how many, 2 or 3 probably. We'll see if my brain is feeling totally burned out at the end of that second one, and that will determine whether there is a third. I'm having a lot of fun here. Which I guess might surprise you, given how the last game went. Some of you out there might be thinking, hey SB, it kind of seems like you don't really understand how this game works and also are terrible at it. Here's the thing. If we had won our first game, then what would the narrative arc of the series look like? Right? I'm not saying that I definitely only lost that last one on purpose in order to create a more satisfying conclusion when we finally do win, but I am saying, you're welcome. So, let's get in here and first of all, like I said last time, I did not do all of the setup stuff yet. Let's talk about what's going to be different this game and the decisions that we have to make before we can get started. First of all, obviously, the position of the initial shelters is a little bit different. At the beginning of each game, you deal out these first 4 production buildings around the initial mine randomly, and then the players get to place their initial shelters. See here, there are markings on the board indicating like this is where the shelter goes in 2 players. I chose to play north of the mine instead of south of the mine this time because the battery and the air building are equidistant from both the starting positions, but we're closer to the water instead of the plant because water's lower in the resource chain. I have no idea how significant this decision was. I was just thinking, well, it's easier to build water buildings, so we'll do that one. Other big changes. Obviously, the mission cards are different this game. This one is take blueprint cards, 10 times. This one is hire scientist, 4 times. And the one down here in the corner is complete Earth contracts. Not take them, but complete them. So this is one where we will not see any motion at all for a long time. But remember, due to the way the cube movement works with the Lacerda deck, after he flips his deck the first time, this could complete like all at once very suddenly. So if we want any progress on this, we're going to have to make sure we take an effort toward that early. And I think that makes sense anyway, because we know we need to complete an Earth contract to actually win the game. Speaking of that, I guess as long as we're thinking about that, let's have a look at the solo goals here. So, we were very close to a level 1 first colonist victory last game. We could probably make that happen, but how exciting would that really be, that tiny little incremental improvement? We're going to aim for a level 2 victory this game. Let's see if we can pull that off. So we got to reach colony level 3, which we did last game, should be reproducible. We have to complete at least 2 contracts, 1 of each type, by which it means 1 contract where you have to deliver resources, and 1 contract where you have to build an advanced building token on top of a complex of 4 buildings. That's trickier, for sure. Complete a private goal, I'm sure we'll get there. Have at least 2 research tiles. Those are research tiles, not technology tiles. The research tiles are the ones that are on Mars that we have to drive over with the rover. This is a fair amount of driving. It's going to take some time. Have at least 4 shelters built. Definitely something we can't just do all at once at the end. We're going to have to make sure that we're working toward that over the course of the game. And then finally, beat Lacerda by 10 OP or more. I do want to talk about this real quick. We absolutely crushed the AI score last game, but a significant part of that, I think, was that he had a bunch of really bad luck at the beginning of the game. A bunch of actions that didn't really work for him. He spent a lot of time sort of driving his rover aimlessly around Mars. We should not assume that we are guaranteed a gap like that again, so let's just try to tighten up our play a little bit here, shall we? And what would we have to do for a level 3? Colony level 4, the 2 contracts, colonists or advanced building markers on at least 3 mines while also having 5 advanced... Okay, this is... Let's worry about next generation. We are headed for a level 2 victory. So what else is really important? Of course, the discovery tiles have been shuffled. They are very different. This one is hire a scientist or take an Earth contract. This one is get 3 water. The technologies, it's always the same 8 technologies, but they've been randomly positioned. You can see the rover tech is real expensive this game. This is interesting. The upgrade technology being free This might be a game where we do a lot more like get scientists, get advanced buildings, use your advanced building power type plays. We'll see. Anything else different? Of course, these stacks of tiles have been shuffled. Obviously, not all of the buildings have crystals on them, so there'll be, the crystal distribution will be a little bit different. The blueprints. Blueprints, of course. Probably at this point, if you watch that whole last game, you are probably pretty much able to read these. These are interesting. The casino's kind of a strange one. Obviously not super great to take an executive action by paying 2 crystals in order to earn yourself 2 crystals. So this is one where you really want the associated scientists so that you can take the action for free. And then it's the same blueprint cards. There are only 24 blueprint cards. You see them all every game, but obviously they come out in a different order each game. And then, our personal goals, our private missions here. So what do we got? Have an advanced building on a complex of 3 buildings in 2 different places. Have that be true twice to either get 2 free tech advances or 2 free upgrade placements. That seems potentially pretty powerful. Have welcomed 3 ships for 2 free upgrades or take the landing pod action. That's certainly interesting. And LSS 3, just make the LSS be level 3? Is that what that? Yeah, okay, colony reaches level 3. Interesting. It's kind of a weird goal, and that gives 5 rover movement, or the free tech upgrade. One thing that didn't come up with these last game at all, I'm going to put these over here so that we're more likely to not forget them. Oh god, there are snap points on the table that are exacerbating. Okay. One thing that's important about these that we didn't interact with it all last game because I forgot we had the cards. They all have a crystal on their backs. At any time during your turn, you can spend one of your private goal cards as though it was a crystal. You cannot burn one of these to get a crystal. You just spend it as though it was a crystal. So once we've figured out which goal we're going for, which reward we really want, we can burn the other 2 to get some extra resources. And with that, I think we're ready to go. It's all... Oh, the LSS goals are totally different. What are these? So 2 points for each bot you have, 2 points for each shelter you have, the tactile we saw last time, and this one is... What is that? Okay. Again, I think some of the components in this mod are from 2 different versions of the game, so the iconography is not always exactly the same on them. That's, when you have fans making your Tabletop Simulator mods, that happens sometimes. Some game companies actually do make official Tabletop Simulator mods so that people can try out the game in the best looking way. So 2 OP for each mine where you have a colonist or an advanced building marker. Is that... Yeah, that makes sense. The building, hexagon indicating building, the building that makes minerals. Okay. So mines, really important today. It's an interesting setup. All right, so let's take our last little bit of setup here. First of all, Lacerda is going to start on the same tile he started on, same space he started on last time, which moves his bot immediately. And then we're going to separate his deck into the 2 sides that it's supposed to be on. The 6, and the 8, and the 2. Okay. And then we have to make that decision ourselves. So the shuttle starts on the same side that Lacerda starts on, and then we have a choice. Last game, I chose to start with the technology, both because I thought, given the way that Lacerda moves the rover all the time, starting with the rover tech would be good, and also the rover tech was free, and also get technology was one of the starting missions, so we got crystals for doing that right away. I think I might start on upgrade this time. I'm just looking at these and thinking, if we could get a hold of a building that makes buildings early on, or maybe the construction yard, which gives us access to the executive action, and executive action that allows us to play upgrades way earlier than we would normally get it, because it's normally up here, and also it costs 3 crystals to do this, whereas it costs only 2 to use the building, or maybe 0 if you have the appropriate scientist. Plus, this allows us to claim the mine early, which obviously is pretty valuable. Early mineral income's a big deal. I think we might go... The biomarket to take things from the warehouse, and then the two that just make buildings are also pretty compelling. And I mean, like, oxygen tank is good if you get it early enough, while there are still techs that are really important to take. I'm actually pretty torn. This is like, there's a lot of options available ahead of us. Maybe we should take the moisture vaporator because we started close to the water building. I guess the water complex tech is really expensive. But I'm thinking we could work hard to develop a complex of 4 water buildings quickly, and then that, you know, we have to complete one of those contracts that has you making a complex of 4 buildings. Although I guess, given our next generation thing, probably we should be looking for a shelter advanced building. Maybe we take the casino and just make sure we get the scientist that makes this free early on and just take the action that gives you 2 crystals semi-frequently. The thing is, we didn't really have trouble getting crystals last game, but I guess we can't always guarantee that will be the case. I'm going to take... Let's take that action. We're gonna take the get upgrade space, which has us go second. It's not a big deal, I don't think. And we're gonna take this, I think. I don't have any idea if the casino's good, but I think it will definitely help us to have an advanced building, to have the shelter thing happening. Okay, so that's set up then. So enter the first colonization phase. Our friend Lacerda here. It's to make a play. So he's taken action 2 over on Earth's side. He would like to build an upgrade, except he cannot do that. So he would like to drive his rover. And again, we just need to pick a random direction here. We're going to use the fancy metal dice this time. Actually, okay, we'll use this fancy metal die, and then the other ones will be plastic, because the metal ones are all the same color, and it's not easy to determine which one is which right away. Okay, so he drives toward research tile number 7. Whenever I do a die roll like that, I'm always going to basically just do the numbers clockwise, so 1 will be start at the top, and, you know. So he drives this way, and he has 1 crystal to spend, so he will spend it. And that's just not a very productive turn. I mean, getting an early research tile is certainly not a bad thing. Although I would prefer to get our research tiles later, if we can. Alright, here's what I'm thinking. We might want to build a shelter right away, so that we can do an early game shuttle welcoming and actually keep all the colonists. I think that really hurt last time when we went to all the effort to welcome in all those guys and then we lost them all. So let's do that. Let's play the build a building action and just make a shelter. We'll get working on that thing right away. So it costs us our initial air. Go ahead and put this down right here. Everybody starts with their build shelter complex technology at level 2 already, so it's not a hard thing to do. Just build it. Actually, maybe I want to build it here? I think if I want to build a water complex too, I don't want to restrict my ability to build mines, though. Yeah, we'll do it there. Alright, so that will get us 2 crystals, which is certainly useful. We do not get to take an executive action this turn, because I didn't do anything to take a... Oh, no, sorry, I totally did do a thing to take crystals at the beginning. Not this. This. We did this action. Specifically so that we would get a crystal during setup, so that we would have 2 crystals during the first turn. Look at me, thinking ahead and then forgetting that I had thought ahead also. Yeah, okay, I did decrement the cube already. Okay, so we built that. We got our thing, or we got our resources. And now, executive action, we definitely want to take something from the warehouse. Probably we just want to replace the lost air, right? The other thought, I guess, is maybe we want to take a plant or a water instead to ease a double shuttle welcome. Actually, yeah, that's a good idea. Let's take the water, or let's take the plant, because we're way more likely to build a water building and get water that way. I have this horrible feeling that I've forgotten some very important part of building a building, so we're just gonna, sorry everybody, let's just start with the slowdown right away. Choose the building. Pay the cost. Put the building down in the thing. Gain resources. Nope, that's it. Okay. Because there's no LSS tile for shelters, and there's no progress for shelters. Okay, cool. So that's the end of the first turn, and the shuttle phase occurs. I believe Lacerda is traveling. Yep, we got no X. So, where is Lacerda traveling to? Lacerda wants resources from the warehouse. That makes sense. Grabs whatever there is the most of, preferring leftmost things on a tie. And then it is Lacerda's colonization phase, so... What do you want to do this turn, you wily AI? You want to take a blueprint. Ah, yes, very wise. Very wise indeed. Let's commit a colonist there. And grab the leftmost blueprint, because you don't have a scientist yet. Oh, I should, first of all, remember to put an advanced building token on mine. One on yours, and then we must remember this give you mission progress, so crystal for you. And I'm just going to go ahead and put it there, because his turn's over. Okay, and then we have a couple of interesting options available to us. We could do the welcome shuttle thing while we still have guys to commit to it. We could welcome 2 shuttles right now by paying water, double plant, plus mineral as water, and that would allow us to completely fill up our new hold space, and would potentially give us a lot more actions to take down here. But we do have to think about, at some point we're going to want to go get some technologies, right? We're going to need some technologies. How about we could do a welcome shuttle, and then next turn, like, take scientist, or we could take scientist right now even. Actually, that's what I think we're going to do, so that we get the one that we want. Yeah, so let's do that. Let's take the scientist that makes shelter actions free. So we're going to commit right here. And the scientist that makes shelter-type actions free, costs double air to take. I forgot, scientists have costs. That is not actually a thing we can do, even. We only have 1 mineral, and we have 0 air. Okay, you know what? We'll just do we'll do the shuttle thing. Shuttle thing seems smart. Wouldn't that be a smart guy move? So, yeah, we'll take the shuttle action. So we will pay water and plant and commit 1 colonist to our working area, so that we can pay water and plant again, just delete these from the game, to welcome 2 shuttles. Now, my first inclination is to take 4 colonists, right? Because remember, each shuttle is either 2 colonists or colonist plus bot. But it is worth remembering that one of the LSS goals this game rewards you for having bots out. So it might be a good idea for us to establish another bot early. And also, I mean, of course, there's the expanding your build zone. I think we're going to take it as, we're going to take one of the ships as 2 colonists, and the other one as colonist plus bot. Bot goes on the empty shelter. I think that's going to end up being worthwhile, and that's a lot of resources turned into points there. Okay. We probably are not going to be able to do a scientist thing. We're going to need to gather some more resources before that can happen. Okay, so that's the end of our colonization phase. Shuttle phase happens. Lacerda wants to travel, and so leftmost discovery tile, 3 spaces away from the rover, and as far from my rover as possible. I mean, that's a pretty good discovery tile. I'm actually, pretty bummed out about that. Maybe we should have made a play anticipating that this was going to happen, because we knew the odds of travel. Actually, by the time it was our turn here, we knew he was going to travel already. Ah well. Too late now. He travels to... No, he cannot travel to space 8. That's my space. He does this. Okay, so whatever there is the most of, preferring the leftmost thing, is a battery. And from our perspective, that battery is just gone. Alright, Lacerda. Action 1 and no travel this turn. Action 1 on this side is build a building. Oh, I didn't, when I took back my guy because we weren't doing the scientist thing, I took back the wrong guy. There we go. Alright, oh, also, I'm super spacey here. Did I remember to give you your crystal for this? I don't think I did. Right, hold on a second. Where is his second crystal from? I know, I'm screwing things up already. Took the blueprint action. Okay, no, we totally gave him his crystal already. Alright, well, he has to spend a crystal now in order to, No, he took a crystal from the market. That's right. That's where his second crystal was from. So he didn't get a crystal when he took the blueprint. So that's... Okay, there's that. That's corrected now. So he has to pay 1 extra crystal to commit a colonist to the build action, and then he gets a nice early build, which is a little unfortunate for us, because he's stealing my thunder here. So he's going to make a battery building happen. His bot is on battery. And no complex tech available. So he's just got to place... Man, there's a lot of potential spots here, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Unfortunate. It's the wrong button. There we go. That plastic, easily identifiable from a distance, D10. Position 8. So, this one. Alright, he puts that there. That's actually pretty great for him. Those crystals really, really easy to get. And then, unfortunately, for us, that means he gets a whole lot of rewards here. So first of all, 2 points for being the first one to build a battery building. And secondly, 2 points for each mine that he has a thing on, which is no extra points at least. And then he gets a crystal for his LSS reward, because he does not yet have a guy committed to the scientist space. And that is actually super good for him. It's a really, really good action for him. Alright, then our turn. Our plan was originally to welcome a new scientist, or to hire a scientist. We don't actually even have the ability... Oh, sorry, we have these. We could take the battery scientist, I suppose, by executive actioning ourselves a battery from the warehouse before taking our main, but that feels pretty not ideal. So instead, we have a couple of options here. We could use our 2 crystals to pay the additional cost to build, or actually we could commit, we have all these guys, we could commit 2 guys to the working area to pay the additional cost to build. And we could make ourselves a mine. Mining complex tech doesn't exist, but we could just build a mine right here, and that would commit a miner to it, and we would have mineral income when we go to space. That's probably worth doing. Okay, let's play the make a building action. So we will put a colonist down on the orange thing. We will pay the additional placement cost by sending 2 workers to our working area. We will pay the cost for building a mine by placing a worker on that mine. And I guess, do I want it to be here? Probably not. I probably want it to be like over here, in a place where the crystal's not immediately going to get obliterated, and then this gives us a good rover move out in this direction. Remember, because we can't make a complex, our only legal plays are to build it exactly 2 spaces away from an existing mine. So this is how that's going to have to go. Crystal and crystal and crystal. Lock that down, and there is no mine LSS tile. We did not make progress because we didn't actually make a complex happen. But we do get a mineral for doing that, which is nice. And then when we go back to space in a second, it will produce another mineral, which will also be nice. And then we do have 2 crystals then. So we can take an executive action here before we head up. Do we want to just grab like a battery from here so that we can more easily afford to buy tech? I think that's probably the sensible thing to do. Let's executive action, take a warehouse item. And remember, because we built another shelter really quickly, we actually have a cap of 3 of each resource. It's not going to come up right now, but expanding that cap early will hopefully help us avoid wasting resources quite as much as we did in the early game last time. And I believe that is our whole turn, so now a shuttle phase occurs. Lacerda declines to travel. I think we would be fools not to go. So first of all, resource generation. Any buildings you have markers on produce their things. Let's get that mineral. Very handy to have. And then retrieve colonists from this side of the board and also from your working area. So taking this early play where you accumulate a lot of colonists and then using them to play the competitive actions and just traveling a lot to refresh them all the time is definitely a different strategy than we were employing last time. So now we have to make a decision or two here about what we plan to do as we move forward. Because we could place ourselves on the get a technology turn order tile right now, and then we wouldn't necessarily have to take it as an action. But I don't know that I think that's the right thing to do. Because I kind of want to take the technology action so that we can commit additional guys to it and buy more than one tech. I want to get 2 technologies. So, as we could do this and do that? No, we can't. Taking 3 technologies doesn't help because we wouldn't be able to place them all. There's only 2 spaces on the left side of the laboratory. So our options really are take another good from the warehouse, or we could play this, which allows us to spend a food or a plant, in our case a mineral, to gain another colonist. We certainly have room for another colonist. We have 2 minerals and 2 batteries. Yeah, that's maybe what we want to do. Yeah, okay, let's do it. So we're gonna play that one. We're going to spend this as either a plant or a water, whatever, and we will grab another colonist. We're gonna have a lot more manpower this game than we had last game. Alright, and then that's the end of the shuttle phase, so now it's our colonization phase, and like I said, I'm pretty sure we want to do this, commit 1 guy to our working area, and get 2 techs. So, the first thing I want to take is this, I think. Mine clusters are pretty powerful. You generate a lot of resources real fast on that. So we'll take this at a cost of battery, and we will get a thing from the warehouse, and I think the thing we're going to get from the warehouse is the last crystal. And then we're also going to spend... Well, hold on, I guess I don't actually know what I'm going to spend. I think we want to take... We might want to take this early upgrade tech. And when we go back, take another blueprint. Or honestly, we could stay up here for a while. We have more workers than we had last time. So yeah, I'm going to take this, which doesn't cost us anything, and which gets us a crystal. So next turn, perhaps we can take some executive actions. We need to find a source of air. Maybe I should be taking air from the warehouse. Whatever. Alright, so we're good. Then it's Lacerda's turn. Lacerda, do you have any... No, all of your crystals are already in. You are taking action number 2 over there, which is to say build and upgrade, and you do have the ability to do that. So there's your upgrade. You did the thing. Congratulations. What is this? This is get a thing from the warehouse, so probably not worth taking the botanist just for us to get access to that. I don't know. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see how things work out. I'm wondering if we took the wrong tech here. Do we want to cluster the mines that badly? Because I kind of want to get on building other LSS buildings. Well, whatever. So, shuttle phase. Shuttle moves, and I think we stay. And obviously the Lacerda goes nowhere. So, new colonization phase. We do have, now, the option of playing this action again. No, we don't. Never mind. We gotta, we'd have to develop technology before we do that. Probably that's actually what we want to do then, huh? Yeah, let's take the develop technology action. Let's commit a colonist. And we have exactly enough resources to develop twice. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to develop this one to here. We're going to spend a mineral as air to do that and then get a mineral back. And then we're going to develop this one next at a cost of anything for which we will pay battery. And then we could commit a colonist here and do 1 more upgrade. If we wanted to say, move this forward so that our mineral tech could end up on the mineral space at some point in the near future. Oh, also, I'm just realizing we forgot to move this guy's bot at the end of his build action. Okay. do I want to spend... Because we still need to do something next turn. What's the thing we're going to do next turn? It could be this, I guess. Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to spend the extra colonists because I think we want to use our extra colonists to take another blueprint next turn. So I think we're done here for now. Also, these should be in our depot. Do we want to executive action right now? Does that make sense to do? We could grab some air, which we think we're going to need. Yeah, that's probably reasonable to do. Let's spend crystals to get a thing from the warehouse. Get ourselves an extra air. Okay. Then we're all good. Lacerda, take your turn. Lacerda would like to perform action number 1 on his side. Okay, so this is the first time we've actually seen this happen. Let's make sure that we process this correctly. First of all, are there any extra rules for Lacerda on this thing? Lacerda uses tech if it is available. Lacerda always has as many colonists as he needs. Okay, no. Alright, so let me look at my other monitor here, the rules document that is on the other page, and make sure we process this correctly. If all of the action slots are filled, before you take the action, remove all colonists of the player or players with the most colonists on those action slots. Oh, sorry, this is a little bit different in two-player games. In two-player games, I believe just all of the colonists come back. It's a little bit awkward the way the rulebook is written. It doesn't gather all of the exceptions to the rule, or rather, it does gather all of the exceptions to the rules in one place rather than having them next to the rules they are exceptions to, which is not ideal in my during setup. Okay, maybe this doesn't have an exception. I thought it did, but it looks like the area where all the exceptions are gathered does not actually have an entry for this. Okay. So remove all the colonists of the player or players with the most colonists. That's me. Hooray. My colonists come back, and they go into their respective players' working area. Then pay the cost based on the colonists that still remain. So we get these guys back. That probably doesn't matter at all to us. Like, that's not actually that different than them being here for our purposes. But if we were still on this side of the board, it would be different. Because it would mean we'd get them back when we go to space instead of when we come back to the planet. So then he pays a single crystal as the additional cost. Commits to this. And this is, again, going to be pretty good for him, actually. So he's making a water building. There are a bunch of tiles this could go in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, it will suck if he rolls this. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This time exactly 10. 10 comes up a 9. So this one. Okay. And 2 points for advancing this thing. He's going to push the colony level, like, really early this game. And he gets points equal to his highest level tech, which is still just 2, but still. He's taken off with this one pretty quickly, and then his bot moves over. Alright, at least he's not getting any progress cubes or anything. So that is the end of that. We have another shuttle phase, and he is moving. Okay. So he skips both of the spaces on this side. I don't remember if we shuffled or not. Go there, so he goes to get a tech. He really just wants to be on whatever space I'm on, huh? He takes this one, puts it here, gets himself a crystal. Okay. So now it is possible to build plant colonies, and maybe that should figure into our play. I have no idea. New round, new colonization phase. Lacerda gets to go first this time. Takes action 3, which is upgrade. Right? Action 3, yeah. Research and development. So he moves up his big tech and then his little tech. Bob moves over. Apparently he's just going to give us that plant build. Well, I guess that makes sense, right? Because it levels up his tech. If he were a player, this would not be an insane path for him to follow. And we are going to play the this action here. So we have to commit a colonist, and I think we're going to pay the additional cost by committing our other colonists to the working area, because we are going back to Mars this turn. And we get to... Well, I guess if we pay the other cost, if we pay the additional cost with a crystal, then we could commit that other colonist to here and just take another building. Oh, maybe that's... Oh no, I don't have a... Never mind, I didn't leave myself a crystal. We will not be doing it that way. Alright, well, since we're talking about building a cluster of construction stuff, or a cluster of mineral stuff, seems like taking the construction yard is maybe the smart play. And the action here of getting to play upgrades is pretty alright. We have the upgrade tech, so I guess we don't really need it, because we already can get multiple upgrades per build. So what else? Build more battery buildings, take technology. Maybe it's the oxygen tank? There's only 5 techs left. I'm really unsure what the right thing to do is here. Well, hold on. Okay, so we're talking about taking the shelter scientist, the scientist that makes shelter actions free. That scientist scores points at the end of the game based on the number of advanced mineral buildings there are, so that makes our decision. We definitely want this. We want to make sure this gets built, because it will be worth points for us. Even more than normal. Okay, I think that is sensible. And then we just took a blueprint, so this comes down and we get a crystal. And no executive actions for us this turn. We are definitely not doing as good of a job maintaining crystal density. We could, remember, burn missions, but I don't think we yet have any idea which mission reward we want, which mission card reward we want, so I'm loath to do that just yet. Alright, so I guess that makes it the shuttle phase. Lacerda's card says he's not going, but we are totally going. So where exactly do we want to go? I mean, first of all, we have to do this and put down a discovery tile exactly 3 spaces away from our rover. I mean, we have a pretty strong incentive to make a rover move at the beginning of this next colonization phase. So we could put this... Discovery tiles can be in a place that has crystals. So, I mean, we have a pretty strong incentive to just put that underneath one of these 2 crystals, right? This one. And is it build 2 upgrades? Because you have to actually pay the resource cost for that. We do have a mineral. Maybe I just want get 3 water. We don't have any water, right? Yeah, and resources. Water lets us build the plant building we're thinking about building. Yeah, okay. I'm going to take the get water tile and we're going to put it under this crystal and we're just going to rove over there. So, to that end, now, what do we get our guys back? Of course, we already got our guys back from over here, but we get back all 4 of these. And what turn order space do we want then? We probably don't need the walker move, or the bot move, because we already are going to move our bots. We'll end up moving this bot to, like, here, so that we can build the plant thing, right? So yeah, we definitely do not need additional bot movement, because this bot can stay in place and give us the extra mine, and... So we could take another upgrade, or we take another blueprint. Do we actually want any of these? I don't think we do want any of these blueprints. So you don't necessarily want to just take extras, right? Because they're negative points if you don't build them. So maybe we just do this. Just get ourselves an extra resource. Another air. Oh yeah, we totally need a second air. Yeah, absolutely, that's the right thing to do. Duh. Okay. Cool. New colonization phase. I really like this game, y'all. I don't know if that's coming through. But there's so many little systems that plug into each other in so many ways. Every move you make has so many implications. Oh, man, I'm really eager to try this with 3 or 4 people. With 2 players, as you saw last time, sometimes stuff can get a little complicated placement-wise, but you're not really fighting for space very much, and it's hard to make blocking plays because there's so much space per player. But I think with 3 or 4 players, where you're all building into each other all the time, I bet this really, really shines. Anyway, he showed 1. Action 1 on his side of the board is take a blueprint. So, first of all, that's going to be a little expensive. and he just grabs the leftmost blueprint because he doesn't have any particular plans right now. Okay. Lock that card in place. Pretty straightforward for him, and then for us it is rover time, right? We have a crystal, so we'll be able to do the triple rover move, which is exactly what we... I mean, are we really in a hurry though? Because we know that his rover will go that way. Is there a reason that we need to do this instead of the scientist play right now? No, there is not, I think. So let's do the scientist play right now. Let's make that happen. We'll commit our scientist, or commit our colonist, rather. We'll purchase our scientist at a cost of 2 air. Oh, the reason we would do it the other way is so that we can have crystals at the beginning of next turn. Because the rover move gets us 2 crystals. Yeah, okay. Sorry about the indecision. We should make the rover move first, so that we can potentially take an executive action next turn. So, you are not committed. The rover action doesn't cost us dudes. We spend our 1 crystal to move our rover 1, 2, 3, which earns us a bunch of crystals and stuff. Let's go to our waiting area. We also get this discovery tile, which gives us 3 water, and also a discovery tile, which may itself be relevant. And we actually have the space for 3 water and everything. Do we have a goal that cares about discovery tiles? No. Okay, so probably the number of discovery tiles we're holding is not going to end up mattering. Still, though, I think that was the right thing to do. And then we can't take an executive action this turn, so we are good, and the shuttle phase occurs. Shuttle goes back to orbit. We absolutely do not go with it. I guess there's a very small chance of a downside here. Oh no, never mind. Because the cards used to determine what space Lacerda will land on don't contain the empty spaces. He never wants to move on to an empty space. We know we will go before him next turn, so he will not be able to snake the scientist that we want by accident. Alright, so yeah, we're done. Shuttle phase, the shuttle moves over, and then it's a new colonization time. Takes action 2, which is this. Goes there and gets him a crystal. And I guess that's it. He's done. I'm a little concerned about how many of the complex technologies are ending up on the wrong board. Alright, and then we don't have to take the scientist right now either, because like we just determined, Lacerda would not be able to take the scientist before us next turn. So is there a reason not to take the scientist right now? I mean, our next 2 actions probably need to be upgrade buildings and get science. Get our crystals at the beginning of this colonization phase here. I would love to do double upgrade, but in order to do double upgrade, we would have to have 2 minerals, because the upgrade always costs a mineral. Do we have a way of generating a mineral? I guess we could burn one of these to take the executive action of get a mineral right now, and then take the upgrade action. We get a free extra upgrade thanks to our upgrade tech. That's pretty compelling, actually. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Okay, so which one of these are we fairly... You know what? I'm fairly confident it won't be this one. We can get this goal easily enough, but we're going to get all 3 of these goals accomplished, and I don't think the landing pod action is going to be the one we want to take. So let's burn this as a crystal, plus these 2 crystals, to take this executive action of get a mineral, and then spend our 2 minerals to do double upgrades. So we gotta commit a colonist to the upgrade space. You cannot working area colonists for more upgrades, but this tech gives us 1 additional upgrade. You get placed... So we have to place this here. We don't have to place this here, but I do want to place this here, so we own both the mines, and we are thus getting double minerals when we go back to space. And then this... Oh, I forgot to move my bot when I meant to move my bot so that we can make a plant. Shoot. Well, shoot. We can displace the bot by building the advanced building here, and then we can just not... I can't believe I totally spaced on that. Is that going to cost us? That might cost us. That might be an expensive problem to fix. Although, were we going to do that build anytime soon? We're not really on the clock on that because Yellow's bot is all the way over to the air building already. It's probably not a huge problem. I'll displace this guy this way. Actually, no, I'm going to be smart about this. We're going to do those upgrades in the other order. So we'll place this upgrade, displace this bot this way, and then we'll place this upgrade and displace this bot this way. And now we didn't have to rewind to a previous transaction to fix having screwed up. There we go, look at that, it's beautiful. It's dumb, but it's a beautiful fix for a dumb problem. Alright, you could just like do things right, SB. Okay, so I think then we are done. We did our executive and our main, and I feel real good about this. Having built some upgrades. Yeah, and then next turn we get a scientist, and then we can use the scientist to do the executive action of get 2 crystals, and then our crystal economy is probably like really solid for the entirety of the game. I feel actually pretty happy about our position. So, shuttle phase. Shuttle comes over, you do travel. So you're going to place the leftmost discovery tile exactly 3 tiles away from your guy and as far away as possible from my guy. This is the due to upgrades, so obviously not like overjoyed for them to have that, but... and then, where do you end up? Space 8. Get a blueprint. Yep, now I'm even less happy about Lacerda being so close to one of those discovery tiles. Oh, and that decrements this and earns you a crystal. Doing really well on crystals this game. Look, Lacerda has the crystal economy we had last time, and we have the one he had last time. Alright, new colonization phase. This time we do take the scientists, because we've... Oh, no, not you. You. Because we've delayed on this as long as we safely can. So we are going to grab you. We still totally have the air left to make this happen. 2 air for that. Hiring a scientist decrements this goal and gets us 2 crystal income. And then we are going to take the executive action of playing one of our advanced buildings, and we get to do it for free because we have the appropriate scientists, so 2 more crystals. And all of a sudden, things are looking pretty fixed on our side. Plus, having hired a scientist is a big deal. Oh, right, and then after we've hired a scientist, we get to place an Earth contract, and I think we know exactly which one we want to place. This one. Goes like this. So we don't have to be afraid of Lacerda taking one of our contracts, because when he plays the scientist space, he hires a scientist until he has 2, right? Yeah, okay. His contracts are considered automatically completed, so if he does get to that point, every time he plays this space, it's worth just a huge number of points, and that would be a real shame. But we'll just hope that doesn't happen. So, Lacerda's colonization phase, he plays action number 3, which is, okay, it's a good thing we did the thing when we did the thing. And I know I'm pulling his colonists from his supply, it's because it doesn't matter. His colonist spots are always considered to be completely full anytime you would check to see if they're full, and he has infinite colonists, effectively, so. Alright, so how does he decide which scientist to take? The one that will score him the most potential OP based on the number of blueprints owned by each player. I believe, yeah, it's a tie on all types except the battery scientist. So we'll just roll ourselves a d6 here to determine which one he wants. With the topmost being 1. 6. 6 doesn't work. There's only 5 options here. Still not good, actually. In fact, this should be a d4. What am I doing? Because we took one of the scientists already. So there are actually only 4 options. There we go. Came up as a 1, so he takes this one. No, this is the one that cares about battery buildings. He takes this one. There's one water building out there. Who knows? Maybe it will be relevant for him. So he wouldn't have gotten our scientist anyway. And then he just puts out a random contract, right? Sort of shuffles the contract deck and refills the display with the top card. Players choose. The bot is random. Okay, it's the other type. It might be very convenient for us that that came up as the other type. And that'll end that, so we have a shuttle phase. Lacerda wants to go back to space. And what will you find there? You will find the rover move action, which is pretty great for you. So he goes toward the nearest tile, right? It moves toward the closest research or discovery tile it can collect. So 1, 2, gets himself a crystal. I think that's, yeah, totally wasted. Nope, missed. There we go. And discovery tile, or yeah, research tile, pretty good for him. So we got to make sure we're getting research tiles, which may or may not turn out to be more difficult than we were hoping. He upgrades his most upgraded tile and his least upgraded tile. Alright. And that means that we're new colonization phase. So Lacerda, you are up first. You get to do action number 3 again. Oh, sorry, action number 3 on this side. So you commit a colonist here, spend a crystal, and once again, so we have to do this in the way that gives the most benefit to Lacerda, which I think is, it's do an upgrade, not take another blueprint, right? And then the leftmost upgrade is the high one. Oh, actually, we don't have to do this randomly. He would upgrade the water building, because he will get points for doing so. But we do determine randomly which one of these he does. So top left is the low numbers. Okay, so he does this one. That's actually really inconvenient for me, potentially. And then he also upgrades one of his lesser upgraded... Does it specify an order for these? If 2 techs are tied, develop the bottom one. Okay. He develops this to here, which moves his bot again. Actually, again, probably a good thing for us. Okay, let's now take our turn. We get 4 crystals, which is pretty handy. And what are we going to do with our turn? I don't really have a plan here. We don't have an upgrade that needs doing. We could just move our rover around because we do need to continue to acquire tiles and stuff. We could welcome more ships. We have space. Oh, we don't have resources, though. We need mines. We need to build a mine, is what we need to do. So let's commit... Oof, expensive. Let's commit to the build space. We will pay for this with crystals. And mine goes here. It's a little not ideal, because a crystal ends up here, and then the other 2 crystals get at. But this is cool in a lot of ways. Puts our remaining colonists down on this mine. Gives us 3 minerals, which is huge. That ended up being 3. Okay. 3 minerals, which is pretty huge. That means we could do a ship welcome next turn before leaving on the shuttle, which would be fine. And then... Oh, I did want to build a plant building, didn't I? Shoot, maybe that should have been build a plant building. Basically, in case it wasn't clear, I guess I'm realizing I had not ever explicitly stated it. My rule for rollbacks, basically for us, let's go back and fix a thing, is we can go back and fix things from the current turn, and then anything that's like a mandatory game state update, we should fix whenever we notice that we missed it. So I don't feel like we've missed our opportunity here. We could undo this. The plant is a big deal. Yeah, the plant building's a big deal. I like all the minerals, but I think we should... Yeah, okay, so hold on. Let's undo all of that. Oh, sorry, this goes on that pile. This crystal doesn't exist then. Oh, that's right. Stacked resources are a little weird going into the things. So we maintain this colonist. We unspend the 2 crystals that we paid to play on that building space. We get our building guy back. What did I do with the guy who was on the mining thing? Is this him? Yeah, this is him. Okay. Oh, sorry. What am I... I unwound the whole action when I totally didn't need to. Part of that, we're still totally taking a build action. It's just a different build action. We'll spend a water to place a plant building here, adjacent to that plant building. Sorry, I should place the crystals. Make sure that stuff's actually going in. Okay. Do that. We use his plant tech, so he develops it. I think it's worthwhile, though. Because we make the complex, so we get the progress cube. And we're getting pretty close to progress cube scoring. It'd be good to get a couple of these cubes out here. The other building, still valuable. We still would like to do that, probably, if we can. Okay, so we get 2 plants. For having done the thing now. Or for having created a 2-plant... not colony, I always want to say colony. Complex. A 2-plant building complex. We get 2 points. Hey, look at that. We're finally on the board. We get 2 points for each shelter that we have on the table, so we are actually tied up. And then we get 1 of these rewards. Now, I think there's an interesting question here about what to take, because we have the option of retrieving our guy off the scientist space to allow us to grab another scientist, potentially, or to start grabbing the contracts. But do we want to take a mineral instead, is the real question. Because we don't have any minerals right now, and we do have more stuff we want to do on the planet's surface. I'm actually pretty torn about that. Let's retrieve the science guy. That's probably right. Right? Probably. We have exactly 2 plants and 2 water, which I didn't plan, but that works out pretty well for taking a shuttle action next turn. Welcoming a ship. And then... yeah, I don't know what else we might need to do. And then we have not used an executive action yet. So do we want to grab a resource from the warehouse is looking pretty empty, actually. I think we just want to take this action with our scientist again. So let's just load up some crystals in the waiting area. This is pretty cool. This is a good thing to have. Okay, that's the end of our colonization phase. I think that was right. Maybe. We'll see. And the colony level's pretty close to going up, so that'll refill the warehouse soon, and yeah. Okay, shuttle phase. Shuttle travels, Lacerda travels. So another discovery tile. As far away from possible as my rover. I guess this is the space that is 3 tiles from his rover, and as far from mine as possible of the legal options. So what's that? That's just build a shelter. Okay. And where's he going? He's going to... not there. He's going to there, where he will move his bot. Okay. New colonization phase. I should remember to throw these back in the decks. A new colonization phase. Man, I really like solo board game time. I think we're deep enough in here now that anybody who is not into solo board game time has turned the video off long ago. So I just want to say thank you to everybody who watches these and makes it, like, at all reasonable for me to do this from a financial perspective. I really, really appreciate it. So it's our colonization phase, huh? We have a couple of things that we know we want to do. We know we want to welcome ships. We know I would like to build another shelter before we leave the planet as well. we might stay, or we're probably going to stay down here for another whole cycle. So does it matter what order we do these in then? I guess if we welcome ships first, then we can use some of the additional colonists to pay, moving colonists to the working area, to pay for the expensive building that we would put down. If we don't take the building action, it's not like we're going to lose access. He couldn't block us because we have 3 legal spaces to build our next shelter in to continue the cluster. Yeah, I think we're in a position here where it doesn't really matter. I guess the big difference is if we build shelter now, we get more crystals. But we don't need more crystals. We have these coming out of our waiting area at the beginning of this phase. We're totally cool, actually. So I'm going to just do it. Let's do the ships. So we're going to commit 1 colonist to our working area and pay 2 plants and 2 water to welcome in 2 private ships. And this time we totally will just go colonists the whole way. Is that right? Do I want to do this, or do I want to pull in another bot for scoring? The thing is, I just don't think we need the other bot that badly. Right, like 2 bots gives you so much building area. Yeah, I think we're going for the colonists. We'll call 4 colonists in that way. And then we should definitely action. So we've unlocked the ability... Oh, we've unlocked the Move Your Rover executive action. That's actually awesome. Is that what we should do? We do have 4 crystals. If we did that, we could move the rover... Am I allowed to spend more crystals on that? Yeah, it does have that icon. That's very interesting. So the rover tech is still unpurchased, right? Yeah. Here's what I'm thinking. What I would really like with the rover is for the next time we move it to be able to move 3 spaces, so we could grab this research tile instead of that one. Because my plan was to come down here. But I guess we know for a fact that Lacerda will not try to grab this research tile, so maybe it's okay to go here and then drive across that way. Obviously, there's no crystals to be had in that direction. There's a lot of crystals on this path. But if we come over here, we can compete with him for some of these discoveries. Like, we don't have to just yield them all. Alright, let's do it that way. I'm going to spend 4 crystals to get 2 points of rover movement. This is the first time I have ever taken this executive action. We're going to have the rover move to here. We're going to grab this research tile. So 2 tech upgrades without having to pay costs. And that, I think, is this and this. Because I do want the mineral. But should we push our shelter upgrade tech all the way up to grab blueprint? No, I don't think so. I think we want to wait on grab blueprint until that that thing has refreshed a little bit. So yeah, let's do it this way. We'll take a mineral and yeah. Okay, I feel pretty good about that. So, in terms of goals, we're doing all right here. The colony level is pushing pretty quickly. We have access to contracts of both types. We have most of the way toward our private goal card of having an advanced building on 2 clusters of 3, or 2 colonies, 2 complexes of 3 buildings. We have a research tile now. We're 2 of our 4 shelters already. We're doing okay. Like, keeping our eyes on the prize here a little bit. So that's the end of our turn. Lacerda gets to colonization phase and wants to build, so he pulls back the yellow colonists from the building space. That's a little bit of a shame. I was hoping to get to do that, because obviously now it's going to be slightly more expensive for us to do it. He pays 1 crystal, and he makes... Okay, so hold on. There are some rules in the building action about LSS buildings. Okay. Builds the building corresponding to the icon his bot is on, but only if the LSS marker for that building is below the colony level marker. If the bot is on the icon for a building whose marker is above the current colony level, which it is, he builds the next building in the sequence unless that building's marker is also above. So it says and so on. So I'm assuming it's not just like you check the next one and if that doesn't work, it's like, oh, he doesn't build. It keeps looking until he finds the one he's looking for. Yeah, okay. Tries to build the largest complex possible. That is not... he cannot currently build a complex of this building type, so... there are 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces available to build an air building. He builds it in space 1. So this building is going down right here. No, sorry, right here is the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I miscounted. Actually, 6. This is totally legal as well. Hold on, we rolled the wrong die. He builds it in space 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Yeah, I don't know what I was doing there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hold on a second. This is where the thing is. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 legal spaces. I'm just not... Oh, boy. If my brain's already fried, how are we possibly going to get through these? Okay, 2. 2 is the actual roll. It goes here. So, that's a little... That's irrelevant for me. I don't think this bothers me at all. This is fine. He puts down a crystal here and a crystal there. That one doesn't go because of the colonist. And then, unfortunately, that means that he has upgraded the colony level. So, 2 points plus 2 points for each of his bots. He has that 1 bot right now. And then the colony level rises. So, first things first. We are going to remember that when the colony levels up, Lacerda places a shelter, according to the construction rules above, then takes a bot. He gains a bot. So, shelter. His shelter has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 legal placements. Except I didn't start counting. Well, whatever. D10. Give me a roll. Placement number 7. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7. Right? And now I'm so nervous. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, I'm so nervous I'm going to place the thing incorrectly. Okay. Then takes 1 bot, which is placed on the thing. Yep. So he never gets resources for building, even when he builds a shelter. Like, this doesn't give him a crystal. I guess it doesn't explicitly say anywhere in the build area that he doesn't get the crystal. It's just that, you know, he normally doesn't get resources for building because he can't hold non-crystal resources. So I would say he does get this crystal. Which he totally could use. It's handy for him. He gets a bot. He has effectively an extra bot, which could matter if he builds another oxygen building. Oh, and we gotta remember to move his bot because he built the thing. Right, yeah, after constructing, move his bot to the next icon in the sequence. So does he... Places a shelter according to the construction rules above. Okay, so actually I think the bot moves again. Okay, and then we process the rest of the colony level up stuff. This is a little bit of a bummer. I was hoping to be the one who pushed that up. I was hoping that we'd get another advancement cube out. So, move the colony marker up 1. Totally did that. New blueprint cards happen. So this gets flushed out, and the other tier 1s go up. And then also the first group of the second tier. Now remember, these second tier ones have to, the advanced building token has to be placed on a complex of 3 buildings of that type. So these are a little harder to place, but they are pretty good. Then refill spaces in the tech grid thing doesn't happen because in 2-player there are no new tech tiles. Refill the warehouse. Absolutely. This game definitely feels like it's happening faster. The first 2 times the colony status is upgraded, oh yeah, scoring for these happens, I get a point and you get nothing. Take that, you stupid robot. Okay, that's it. That's all that happens there. So, oh, I'm realizing we did not decrement. This didn't happen. He should have 1 more crystal. Okay. I'm just making... I realized that because I was making sure that we were in the correct place on all these. There were 5 blueprints taken, so this should totally be down at 5, which means I shorted him a crystal somewhere else too. But that's fine. He's never been out of crystals. Like, he was never unable to do a thing because of crystals. And that would have just been wasted, because we know he's gone over repeatedly. So that, yeah. Us forgetting to give him a couple of crystals has changed the actual game state 0%, which is good. So... Oh, also, when he built this, in addition to getting the points, he gets this reward, which allows him to remove the colonists from the scientist space. We know he likes to do that. Okay, that's the end of Lacerda's colonization phase. He had a big, complicated one there. It's definitely interesting. So it should be no problem at all for the colony to hit level 3, but I'm a little worried about us being able to actually beat his score. And we have a lot of other stuff that needs to get done before the game ends, and we have 2 missions that are really close to completion, and if this pushes up again, like, we might actually get raced out of this one, is my concern. Well, okay, nothing else for it. Shuttle phase. The shuttle goes to here. We're totally managing that correctly this time. And Lacerda totally goes with it. Well, hold on. We have to make a decision. Do we want to go? My intention was to stay down here on Mars for a while longer, and welcoming the ships was supposed to do that, but now that the shuttle's going out to the 2s, it will take a lot longer for the shuttle to be able to carry us back to orbit, right? Because we're going to have to wait 2 turns for it to even come back, and then another 2 turns for it to leave. Do we have enough resources to stay down here that long, or do we want to just go back up right now? If we went back up right now, we would get a crystal and 2 minerals. No, I think we want to keep building. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we want to keep building and stuff. So we're going to stay down. Well, Lacerda travels, though. Lacerda loves to travel. One of his passions in life. Just going to space over and over again. Alright, so he gets the tech that allows you to bring in extra guys when you... Oh, sorry. He would want to do this to deny me a crystal. He just loves going to space, man. Okay, and he's got a ton of tactiles. Getting a little nervous about his score, like I was saying. Alright, colonization phase. Oh boy, yeah, his deck just ran out. The end of the game's gonna be, like, really soon. I'm worried. Okay, so he takes a tactile. Does that, gets a crystal, doesn't need it. And then it is our turn, and we have a lot of things that need to get done immediately. So, one thing that we probably want to do here is build a shelter. I was going to build a mine, but we probably have to... we have to spend this mineral to make a shelter. We have to continue to shelter complex. Do we have... Okay, we have no crystals right now, so this will be our executive action for the turn. Yeah, this makes sense. Okay, shelter. So, we have to commit a guy to the build space. It is going to cost us 2 extra colonists committed to the working area in order to be able to do that, which is a little bit of a shame. And then we must pay oxygen, mineral as air, to place a shelter here, I think. Yeah, because we definitely want this place to be available for a mine. So yeah, we put that down there. That gives us 3 crystals of income. I think we're going to lose. I think we're going to fail to achieve our goal here because the pace of this game has been so different. And I feel like we played way better here. If we lose, I'm not going to feel like, I just screwed up, I did a terrible job. I think we really tried hard. It's just, this was a tough one. Alright, and then this is our executive action. 2 more crystals in the waiting area. So now we're at 1 of 2 on this goal, but also this goal will complete, right? So either one of these is potentially viable. I think we want this one way more, because build 2 building upgrades without having to even pay the minerals. If we can get 2 tier 2 blueprints, that's a lot of points, right? We definitely want this to be the goal we take, but we have a backup. We are ready to score out if we need it just to be able to win. We still have to take a bunch of rover actions. We need to travel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 spaces. So we're probably looking at 2 rover actions there that we have to fit in somehow. This is going to be tight. Alright, we're good though. We're done. So shuttle phase. The shuttle moves to here. We'll start his colonization phase. We do this thing, and stuff's going to get a little ugly. So he decrements C. Not great for us, and takes action 1, which returns 2 of his colonists. And unfortunately, this is a mission-related action. Sorry, it returns 2, but then it places a new one. I could have done that a little bit more intelligently. He cares about water buildings. So he would like a water building, and he wants the lowest leftmost water building. Okay, and then him taking that decrements this and earns him a crystal. Oh, sorry, he had to pay a crystal to even play the action, and then he gets a new crystal, so we don't have to adjust his thing. Okay, and then it is our colonization phase. So what do we still need to do? We need to play 1 more shelter somewhere. We had to get those 2 contracts done. And we have to win. We have to actually, score points. That's also important. Which is probably going to mean we need to build a bunch more other buildings here. So, at the beginning of our turn, we take these 5 crystals, and we put them into our actual depot. So we have a good executive action available to us. I don't know exactly what we want, but we could move the rover with this, or we could take a blueprint. We don't have any resources at the moment, but we should probably build a mine now. If we build a mine now, it's going to cost us 1 of our 2 remaining guys. And then we're going to be in kind of a rough spot, actually. I'm trying to think ahead. So we'll have 3 minerals. We'll build the mine in such a position that we get 3 minerals. That could allow us to welcome a ship to get more colonists. 1 more colonist, because we only have 1 more colonist than we're showing. Yeah, I think we have to do it. So our 2 colonists come back to our waiting area. Or just to our working area, rather. Then we commit 1 colonist to this action. We have to pay a crystal. I'm pretty sure we can't, at this moment, afford to spend the colonist instead. Oh, right, because we have to put the colonist on the mine. That's how the game rules work. Yes, so we have a cost of spend colonist on mine. Yeah, this is how this has to go. So, sorry, it does place a crystal. And then we get 3 minerals for doing that. And now we have a mine complex that we could build a top-tier mine blueprint on. So we could get this thing. Could and should. Need to get this thing and build it, because it's worth a ton of points, and also it gives us an executive action that we really want to have access to. I have a feeling that I'm forgetting something. Let me just look at the building instructions again. Pay the cost, we did that. Place the tile, we did that. Place crystals if there are crystals. Gain the resources. Nope, that's it. I always feel like I'm forgetting something. There's enough parts to placing a building, and I'm nervous I will forget. Okay. So now we need to think about our executive action here. What do we want to do so that we are sure we will have enough crystals for whatever we need to do next turn? Next turn, the shuttle comes back to... Or at the end of this turn, the shuttle's going to come back to here. Then on our next turn, we welcome our final personal ship, get 2 more colonists. The shuttle will move to here. Then we get 1 more action on this side of the board. The shuttle will move. The shuttle will leave Mars, and I think we should go with it at that point. So, if we were to spend all 4 crystals right now and just move the rover 2 spaces, that feels pretty bad. Alternatively, we could grab another mineral if we want. We now have up to 4 resource. 4. We have space for 4 of each resource now since we built another shelter. We could take that blueprint. The thing is, if we do anything more than grab resource from the warehouse, then we won't have enough crystals to do any executive action next turn other than this one. But maybe that's fine? We're going up to space. So we don't necessarily need to grab the mineral mine right now. We could. We have the executive action available to do so. But we're going to be up in orbit for 2 turns in the near future. So that could be our blueprint grabbing time. And then we come back down and build it later. Or like we have an executive action. We have actions for building stuff. So I think we do, in fact, just spend 2 crystals, executive action, get plant, just to ease the cost next turn of welcoming the ship. Yeah, I think that makes sense. And then next turn we can do it again. So if we don't do it, we're left with just mineral. Oh, well, next turn we have to... Remember, we have to pay a crystal. We're grabbing a contract before we leave, too. So it's going to be welcome guys, then use one of those guys to grab a contract. So we'll need a crystal for that. You know what? At the risk of maybe screwing this up, instead of spending 2 crystals to do that, I'm going to take the executive action of using our scientists to get 2 more crystals. Maybe I'm overstocking here. Okay, our colonization phase is done. Shuttle phase happens. Lacerda comes back? Yes, he does. So he places a discovery tile. This is... He does that. And then... goes to right there and moves bots. Okay. And then it's a new round. We have a colonization phase during which we know what we must do. So we spend 1 water and 1 plant to welcome our final ship and have it bring us colonist plus bot. Bot goes here, because that's the only legal spot for him. And then we take we definitely take an executive action here, like a decent one. This could be... So this turn we could take the executive action of move the rover 3 spaces. What else? We also have access to this now. That's 1 tech upgrade with no cost. That's pretty cool. And that would be, if we were just going to grab blueprint, that would be a good way to do it, because we could do that while gaining a point on our tech. But it probably is move the rover. Like, spend 5 crystals to move the rover 3 spaces so that we can get it halfway to where it needs to be. And then we have the crystal necessary to buy the contract we want next turn. Oh, there's a danger here, though. If we do this, and Lacerda, on his turn, plays this action, with him having a guy here, this will cost us either 1 extra crystal or 1... Well, I guess it's not a big deal, though, because we have a card. We can just pitch our extra card as the extra crystal if the worst happens. Yeah, I'm going to take that executive action. I know that's very pricey, but I'm nervous. I'm nervous about how quickly the end of the game is approaching. Okay, so we're done then. Now it's Lacerda's turn, and Lacerda takes action number 2, which is play one of your upgrades. So commit, pay the crystal, and then this upgrade is the one that he cares about because of his scientist. Okay, easy enough. Shuttle phase. Shuttle goes to here. New colonization phase. On our turn, we really need to do this thing. So we commit our colonist here, and we grab... I mean, we need this one. This one we know will be hugely beneficial to us. So we grab this Earth contract. I'm really nervous. We're not going to have enough time for everything we need to do. Oh, we have to pay a crystal to do that. The Earth contract costs a crystal. And then we get to put another one out. And at this point, I think the one we want to show is the 4 minerals one, right? Because we could get 4 minerals all at once by just taking, just building a mine adjacent to our existing mines. Like, I think that's the one that we want on the table. And we actually have enough shelters this game to be able to hold 4 minerals. Okay. And then we take the executive action of this thing. Crystals in the waiting area. And then it's Lacerda's turn. Oh, sorry, I forgot. When we did this last turn, Mission A was supposed to decrement, and he would have received a crystal for that. Okay. Lacerda's colonization phase. Mission B decrements. For this, he would receive 2 crystals in the waiting area, and then he takes action 1, which requires him to spend 2 crystals. So those 2 crystals he took into his waiting area just now will totally matter. And he builds. He builds a water building. Is the water cluster tech does not exist, so he has to build it away from stuff. And unfortunately, there's a ton of options here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Actually, there are 8 legal options, so that's the D10. This one. He builds it in space 1, so here. Does not have any crystals on it. Goes down there. He did this thing, so points based on his highest tech level. 5 points for yellow. We're going to have a really hard time pulling off all of the things at the same time here. And then also he gets one of these rewards. He would take his guy back from here if he could. Otherwise, he takes a crystal, although this crystal is wasted. Just go ahead and throw these on here. Technically, this happens at the beginning of his next turn, but whatever. Okay, and then shuttle phase. And I think we have to go. I think it would be very foolish for us not to go, so sorry. First we do this. Any building that we have a colonist or an advanced building marker on produces resources, so that's 3 minerals and a crystal. Pretty handy. That exactly fills up our mineral supply. I don't know if I'm actually playing better this game, but I definitely feel like my strategy is more coherent. Like, I have an idea of what I'm doing, and I'm actually executing it. And then we get back all of our colonists from this side of the board, plus all of our working area colonists. And we actually have space for all of these dudes, too. So we got to get back down to the planet at some point and build a 4th shelter. And then when we do that, it will complete this mission and this mission. We're close. We're close. So now we go onto one of these tiles over here. Do we want a tech or do we want a resource from the warehouse? It feels like resource from the warehouse must be wrong because we have 4 minerals sitting here. So I guess let's grab a technology. how is this going to work? What's going to... I mean, we're going to get a resource from the warehouse anyway here, I guess. So we spend 2 minerals, because we must. Sorry, must is wrong. You don't have to take the benefit of the space. If we thought it was wrong to take a tactile, we do have the option of not taking one. But I think that we do want one. I think we want to take the water one. I guess... No, we want to take the air one. Yeah. Air thing, and then... So we will need a plant to build an air building eventually. We should probably take the plant. Yeah, okay. That's my shuttle phase. He also travels. Skips all the spaces on the way over, and then... I guess I could have left that out of the deck, because it's not a legal draw. Okay, he goes there and does a rover move. Which rover move does he do? Well, okay, so he goes here. This is the only answer. This is the only tile that is valuable to him that is only 2 spaces away. So he is going to hire 1 scientist or take 1 Earth contract. He takes a scientist, right? Because, yeah, he needs to have 2. So, in terms of building improvements, the air scientists, a bunch of them are the same. There are 3 legal options here. He takes... Nope, 3 legal options here. Okay, he takes the 3rd one. So... Not you. This guy. The geochemist. Alright, he's got his 2nd tech. Or his 2nd scientist now. So he might begin to take contracts. And he deals out a random contract. Okay. And then that's the whole shuttle phase. Oh, sorry, the shuttle went to here, not there. Alright, new turn's colonization phase. We want to take a blueprint. Fairly sure. Sorry, we get all of these. And then, yeah, we commit a guy to take blueprint. We commit one of our colonists to the working area to pay the additional cost. And I want this blueprint very badly. That one's like basically free. I guess the other thing we could take is a blueprint that... Oh. No, this blueprint will be worth points for us, because our scientist scores upgraded mineral buildings. So yeah, this is the one we want, for sure. And we'll... Advance building that. And then, do we want to commit more workers to get more blueprint? I think we... Maybe we do, actually. I do, in fact, want to take that, I think. So yeah, we'll commit another worker to our working area, another colonist to our working area, to also take this blueprint, and maybe I'm not gonna have time to build all these, but I think we should be okay. Oh, that one gets you contract. That's just take contract? Sorry, that's not the right reference material. Here we go. Take 1 Earth contract from the display without... sorry, no. Paying the cost, not without paying the cost. Without is a really bad word to imagine exists when it doesn't exist. So I guess what we're looking at there is action efficiency versus this, which could potentially be, you know... How many times are we going to play this, though, honestly? Hard to say, hard to say. I think I'm gonna take the other one, actually. Back in the display, we'll take this one. Because this is, at some point, this is going to let us take our 2nd Earth contract that we have to take in order to not lose the game as an executive action rather than as a main action, and I think that's going to end up being pretty valuable. Alright, so the bad news there is we just took 2 contracts from the display and we have accelerated the end of the game a little bit. But I think this totally rules. This potentially totally rules for us. Okay. Lacerda's turn. B decrements two crystals in the display for you, and that does move the mission completion cube. We're in danger. And then you take action 3, which is upgrade. So commit a guy, spend a crystal, and upgrade this to here, and the bottommost of these. Oh no, sorry. This is the bottommost. That's right. He has stuff in his left side now. Okay, and that's your turn. And then the shuttle phase happens. Now remember, we can burn a private ship to go back to Mars at any time. So I think we actually do have to think about this. Is this the moment? Or do we want to stay up here? What would we do if we stayed up here another turn? I suppose I could develop tech. Developing this to here is worth a lot of points, but we're probably going to do that by taking the other discovery tile, or the other research tile that we have to take. I know this costs us 3 points to do, but we might want to go back now. If we didn't go back now, how does this work exactly? Let me look at the shuttle phase, because I have never had a player do this in a game. Let's see if it makes sense at all. Okay. In turn order, all players decide if they will travel or not. If the shuttle did not move, you may still travel, but to do so, you must remove a ship from your hangar. If you decide to travel, follow the steps described on the next page. So travel to the colony. I believe that if you travel via a private ship, there's something different about it. I remember reading that in the rules, but like I said, since nobody's ever done this in a game that I've been in, I'm not 100% sure what it is. I don't remember. Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm looking at this. Shuttle travels and your player marker is on the side. You catch a lift with the shuttle for free. Yeah, okay, it looks like it is just a normal travel. If we travel right now, we will reclaim 3 colonists from the board, plus these 2 guys. So actually, one of our colonists will shunt off into space. That's probably not a big deal. I don't think we care a huge amount about that. We could take blueprints again, but I don't think we want to, because I'm nervous I wouldn't be able to complete them. I certainly don't want to spend... Well, actually, I was about to say I don't want to do this, but we could take a whole bunch of resource tiles next turn, because we could just commit a bunch of colonists. We could just fill up on stuff, and then be able to do whatever the hell we want down on the planet's surface, which is actually kind of compelling. I guess, though, what would we do? We'd use plants to build an air building. That makes sense. We get a cube, we get some rewards. We want to build another shelter, which we don't have the air for, but building the air building will give us air. We also still have 2 minerals. We intend to probably build another mine. So we'll have the resources we need. I think we maybe just shunt 3 points to get down there and start working, because otherwise we're just losing a turn, basically. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Okay. Never done this before. We're going to spend a private ship to get the hell out of here. I'm going to real quickly, one more time, going to make sure that I am not confused about this process, because I could swear I read somewhere in the rules that if you use a private ship, you don't get both of the spaces or something. You skip one of the things. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so we put our ship back there. I'm not seeing anything. I think I maybe just imagined it. Stand up. There we go. Okay, so we get to place either build a battery or build... Oh, wow. Okay, we'll place the build a mine tile. A tile... I imagine a tile can't have both a discovery and a research tile on it. Yeah, okay, so... I don't exactly... This is fine, I guess. We're going for that, and then maybe we'll pick this up later. Alright. And then we retrieve workers. So we get back all of the guys on this side of the board first. It doesn't really matter what order this stuff comes back in. And then this guy's just out. That's fine. Alright, and then it is time to pick a space here. So we don't necessarily need resources from the warehouse. Do we want to move a bot? We have plenty of places that we can build the shelter we need. The air cluster tech is at level 1, so it wouldn't help us to move a bot so we could build the thing here, because we wouldn't be able to build it there anyway. Yeah, I think this bot is fulfilling pretty much all of our needs. We don't really need to move a bot. And we don't need to grab another blueprint, I don't think, so I'm going to do this. We're going to take a crystal? I guess I could just take the air. This gives us some flexibility in what order we build things in. We do have 5 crystals already. Yeah, that's fine. We'll take the air from the warehouse. Okay, and then it's a new colonization phase, and Lacerda goes first. He decrements mission C. Bad news. And then he takes action 1, which is blueprints, right? Yeah. Oh, sorry. This crystal, at the beginning of his turn, this crystal goes into his depot. That one is wasted. And then after the beginning of his turn, he gains 2 new crystals. And then he takes action 1, which requires him to play a colonist here. It costs him these 2 crystals, so that's fine for him. And he takes... So now he cares about upgraded water and upgraded shelter buildings. Okay, and he grabs the bottom leftmost thing that he can. Alright, and then it is our turn. And we have a whole bunch of stuff we need to do. So we need to do upgrades. And those could be right now, right? Yeah, those could totally be right now. Let's take the upgrade action, then. We have the option of doing that... We have the option of doing that as an executive. We have so many things we can do as executive actions. And I think the thing is, I think we want to open up the rest of our executive actions right now. Oh, sorry, these should go in our thing here. So, we also finished this. I guess let's just do this, right? Let's claim our private goal, because we have an advanced building on a cluster, or a group of 3 buildings in 2 different places. So we've done this thing, and we'll take that bottom half action of getting 2 upgrades without paying the cost. So this goes right here, gives us back a guy in our working area, and this goes on... I guess it doesn't really matter. Do this and push this guy to here? Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so we claimed that, and now this is just another crystal that we have, which is cool. Then we needed to score this anyway for game purposes. Alright, so we now have access to some executive actions that are pretty compelling. I think we probably want to build, then. If we build a mine, Then we get enough resources. We build a mine, and then we pay 2 crystals to take this executive action to get a contract. Then we can take our other contract that we need and be all set on that stuff. We'd be all set on the goal of accomplishing contracts. So we would have enough minerals to finish it. If we built the mine... We need to build the shelter too, though. And if we build the shelter first, then we will waste fewer of the minerals. So yeah, let's build the shelter first, then. Let's commit a colonist to the build action. The way things look right now, I think we can afford to pay the additional 2 cost with workers rather than crystals. But I guess I'm building a shelter, so we may as well pay 1 of it with crystal, because we're going to get 4 crystals when we build the shelter. And then we'll pay 1 of it with a colonist. No, we're going to pay with 2 crystals. What am I doing? We're going to have so many crystals. What am I trying to save them for? Okay. So we pay an air. Do we pay a mineral? Because we're going to get 4 minerals in a second here. We're going to have room for 5. Yeah, we pay mineral as air, actually. Weirdly enough. And we put the shelter down. It does not matter pretty much at all where. Put it down here? So that way we could build a water there if we decide we wanted to build a water. You're right, there's no reason to remove the possibility. Yeah. So sorry, did this have... No, of course it didn't have crystals on it. It's a shelter. That's not how shelters work. Alright, so that gives me 4 crystals. This is going to be a little messy because these are not tiles, but like big objects with physics. Marzenum has some frustrating physical properties. Okay. So yeah, we built our shelter. That gets us 1 of our endgame goals. And then, we still haven't taken an executive action yet this turn. I think we're going to pay 2 crystals to take the executive action of do 1 of your buildings. We're going to do this, pay the 1 crystal necessary to take the contract from the thing. We're going to grab this contract. Alright, I don't actually know how does satisfying contracts work. Let me look at this real quick, because I've never had to do this before. Okay. If you complete a contract at the end of the game, you get the OP depicted. So once you have a delivery contract, you may move crystals and resources of the depicted types from your player board onto the contract at any time during the game. Okay, so we just have to make sure that we have the minerals. We don't have to, commit them right away. We could, but we don't have to. Alright, so that was our executive action. So we're done. We claimed a private goal, played a main action, and did an executive action. It was a big, fancy turn, and that ends our turn and makes the shuttle phase occur. And you do not travel during this shuttle phase. Okay, so colonization phase for Lacerda. He could trigger the end of the game here. Remember, we would get another full round after this round if he does. He did not. He pulls action 2, which is get the last technology. Go. Oh, sorry, these are yours now. Gets a crystal for placing that tech. Okay. Then it's our turn during the colonization phase, and what are the things that we still need to do? We need to take 1 more rover action at some point. And are we... we're actually kind of good, right? The colony level has to hit 3 before the game ends. We have building actions to take. Contracts are all... Well, we're not all set on the contracts. We still need to get some minerals. Have 2 research tiles. Oh, boy, okay. So we need to take 1 more rover action at some point, but we can do that as an executive action for free now that we have this building. What's the story on that? Move your rover a number of hexes up to the highest level of rover tech in play, plus up to 1 additional for... Okay. And it doesn't actually use the rover tech, but the rover tech is 2. So it would only let me move the guy 2 spaces. Then I'd have to either spend a crystal or give him a level on his rover tech to hit our research tile, but that's very doable. In order for the colony level to go up, 3 more build actions have to occur. Oh, sorry, also, after you built that water, you sure your thing should have moved. 3 more build actions have to occur, so we have to actually work on those really hard, I think. That might be what kills us. Okay, well, let's start taking them. So, air building. Let's build that air building. We have to commit a colonist. Sorry, we eject his colonists back to his control. Play a colonist of our own. And we pay 1 crystal for the extra cost there. I guess it could be a guy. It doesn't need to be a crystal. Does it matter? It might not matter. I'm gonna make it a guy because we have so many guys. Yeah. Okay. So air building right here. It doesn't really matter where too much. This does not create any crystals, so it costs a plant, and it gives me 2 air. And I progress cube the air area, and I get this, which gives us 2 points for each bot that we have, which actually turns out to be pretty good. 6 points for us. And then in addition, we get 1 of these. So at this moment, we have to make a decision about whether or not we intend to build that mine. I spent that mineral last turn thinking that, well, for sure, we'll build the mine, so obviously it won't be a big deal. But now I'm wondering if we're going to have the time, if there are 2 more build actions that need to happen, considering that Lacerda can end the game at almost any time. So I think I'm going to take a mineral here. And I wish I had spent air on that thing. I was just like, well, we're gonna cap out on these either way, so who cares? Not actually the case, it turns out. Okay. That's our main action. And that was the whole main action. And then executive action, is it time to move the rover? I think it probably is. Let's just get that done, right? So we move the rover to here. In order to do that, we have to spend a crystal. And that gets me my 2nd research tile and, of course, the benefit of a research tile. So maybe it's... I mean, obviously my plan was to do that, because that's 5 points, but I'm wondering... It's 5 points and it would be very expensive to do otherwise. I'm wondering if we... Maybe... Do we want to move this through here and grab a blueprint? Like, we're going to do that, for sure. Do we actually want to take the blueprint? Because we don't have to. If we do, it would probably be this one. I'm just not sure that we'll finish it. I'm not sure we'll have time. We have an executive action we could play that would allow us to do the upgrade. My concern is the mineral cost, since it's looking like maybe we may or may not have time to build the mine. Basically, the decision is going to have to... The safety of this decision depends on how many turns I think are left. And it's impossible to know, really. So I think we're not going to grab the extra blueprint, because I'm afraid I would not finish it. Yeah. Okay, so that's our executive action finished, and it's a good one. And then that's the end of that. Shuttle phase happens, and now new colonization phase. Okay, he again does not end the game. He takes action 1, which ejects 2 of his colonists, and then he has to replay 1 of them at a cost of 1 crystal, and this extra crystal is just, from last turn, is just dead. And he takes a blueprint. He takes this water blueprint. And in doing so, does actually end the game. Okay. Is it possible for us to win the game at this point, I wonder? Alright, so that's the end of his phase. All of the missions are now complete. We have this colonization phase plus one more colonization phase after this. And during that time, a battery building and a plant building must get built. And then we also have to somehow acquire 2 minerals. I think we can do it. I think we might be able to do it. Okay. So let's, yeah, maybe. We're in actually, no, we're not going to be able to. I'm realizing now it's going to cost us a mineral to build the battery building, and then it's going to cost us a water that we don't have to build this. So we need to pay 2 minerals to make the 2 buildings happen, and we can get a couple of minerals from executive actions in that time, but it's not going to be good enough. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we lost. Wait, there's a discovery tile on the board that builds a mine. Oh, interesting. Okay. Colonization phase. We must build with our main action. Must build. So, we have to make a battery building happen. That is going to cost us a mine. We're going to build it right here. Or it's going to cost us a mineral. We're going to build it right here. This is a legal spot. This does place some crystals on the board, although I'm fairly sure they can't matter. And when we do that, we gain a battery, which is not helpful. This battery is a garbage battery. Okay. And that increments this thing, giving us 2 points for each mine that we have a guy or a building on, which rules. That's 6 points. Okay. So that's our main action. Oh, sorry, there's like a whole bunch of other parts of that I didn't bother to do, like this. I think we want to do it like this. We want to pay the extra cost in this way because I'm pretty sure we can't afford to spend any crystals that we don't have to spend. And then we want to take this executive action, move the rover to here, grab ourselves a discovery tile that causes us to build a mine. Yeah. I think. We put this mine right here. Trying to pull that crystal off the table here. Get out of... There we go. We build the mine right there, obliterating this crystal. We have to put a colonist on it to operate it. And our mine tech, yes, it can be connected to 3 other mines. Our mine tech is exactly high enough for that. That gets us 4 minerals. That's such a big deal. Also, this cube should have been here like a long time ago. Whatever, it probably has not. I'm pretty sure it wasn't supposed to be there when the progress cubes got scored the last time, so it's fine. Okay, that's good. That's really, really, really good, actually. And then we are done. We took our executive action. This scientist has been such a... we lose by so much if we didn't take this scientist exactly when we took them. And then they're going to be worth 6 points at the end of the game because we upgrade... Man, scientists are awesome. Okay, so that's the end of our turn. That's the end of the colonization phase in general. Which means that now we note that the endgame has been triggered. There is 1 more colonization phase coming. The shuttle phase happens. I elect not to go back to space because doing so will lose us the game. And then a colonization phase. The final colonization phase begins. Lacerda chooses to take action 3, which is an expensive... Sorry, this goes here. Lacerda does this, paying 2 crystals for that thing, and upgrades tech. And it doesn't really matter a huge amount how this it's just points for him. It doesn't matter a huge amount how that happens. Oh, sorry, he does develop the bottom tech whenever possible. Okay. And then it is our final colonization phase. And during this phase, we need to build a plant building, which we can totally do. The plant... Oh, I guess it doesn't... We don't want to add to a cluster of buildings. We want to use this bot to build a plant building right there. I'm pretty sure. So we pay 1 mineral as water. Oh, sorry, we have to do this first. So we go to play this. This flushes. It becomes completely empty, which means that we only have to pay the 1 colonist to play it, which is awesome. Then we pay our mineral as water. Take the plant tile, put it here. Because we don't want to use his plant cluster building tech, because it would give him a point to do so. Yeah, we build that there. It gives us a single plant. Then it increments this thing. We receive 2 points for each shelter we have, which is 8 points. Pretty big deal. And then at the end of our colonization phase, the colony level increases, which, first of all, causes a... Well, hold on. Let's go through it as it is listed out in the rulebook to make sure we don't miss anything. Okay, so first of all, move the colony marker up. Did that. The blueprints would change, but it literally can't matter, so I'm not going to bother. Refill spaces in the warehouse. I'm not going to bother with that either. Then, yeah, the progress area gets scored. We have 3 cubes in the progress area, so 4 points for us. That 31? That is 31, okay. Then the game's over. Sorry. The final thing that happens is crystals go back into the crystal area. So we also have a moment here where we can commit our minerals. At any point during that final colonization phase, we commit our minerals to this to complete it. And I think we got it. Unless he scores a huge number of points more than I think he's going to in a second here, we totally got it. I guess, is there anything else I can do that matters? Oh, sorry, this discovery tile belongs to him. He got this. We could do a rover move. Right, we have an executive action available. So what do we do with it? We ended up with a bunch of crystals. We have 4 crystals. So I guess, actually, at the very least, we do this, right? We turn in our third objective card plus our 3 crystals as a point. But is there a thing we can do with them that's better than a point? Executive action... If we had chosen to take the blueprint earlier, no, we wouldn't have enough minerals to upgrade it. So I think I was right not to take one. No. The Earth contract for Cluster of Mines is not up. If it was up, we could just take that as our executive action for 12 points, which would be pretty good. I think it actually might be take the free tech upgrade. I think this is the only thing we can do here that generates points, unless moving the rover would generate us points in any way. Well, we could... Yeah, we could take this, right? 1, 2, 3, 4. We have the crystals to make that move happen. And building a shelter is... Well, building a shelter is not by itself worth any points, though. Because we don't have enough colonists to fill it anyway. So it's not like we wouldn't be able to... We're not going to score all the points on our current shelters anyway. No, I think we're done. I think we do this action by paying 3 crystals plus 1 gold card. We move this to here, and that's it. That's how we end the game. Because crystals themselves and resource tiles and stuff are not worth any points. Very few of the things you can do with an executive action are actually directly worth points. It's basically just build, upgrade, or this thing. Okay, well then. we are done. Let's final scoring it out here. So first of all, the progress area gets scored one final time, 35. Then ships, I have 12 points worth of ships remaining. The ship mechanic doesn't even exist for Lacerda. Then, okay, guys. Oh, sorry, also, when the colony level upgrades, Lacerda got to build a shelter, which doesn't matter a huge amount. We're not going to bother with a lot of the things about it, but it does mean that he gets more points here. So Lacerda gets 10 points on colonists in your living space. And then we get... How exactly does this thing work? We take back the colonists from the side of the board that we are on, I believe? Return all colonists from the side of the board where your player marker is and from your working area back to your living quarters. So, that's you plus... Okay, so we would fill both of these shelters as well, which means 10 points. If we had one more colonist, it would have been 5 additional points. There's no way to do that with an executive action, I don't think. So I don't think there's anything we could have done about that. And we don't have the ability to welcome another ship or anything. We were close. We missed 5 points there by a very narrow margin. So 10 points. We don't lose any ground to Lacerda on that one. I feel pretty good about that. The next thing is technologies. So we have 9, 13, 14, 15. Not nearly as good as we did last game. 62, 72. And Lacerda gets 9, 13, 16, 21. So to 46. And then buildings. I think this is pretty good for us. So we get 16 here, a nice clean 16 to 88. And then Lacerda has a bunch of positives, but also a bunch of negatives. Actually, he doesn't even have that many positives. In fact, this is negative 2 points. He didn't get enough upgrade actions. And then scientist points. Here we get 6 points because our systems engineer is worth 3 points for each upgraded mine building. Systems engineer 100% responsible for our victory. Really, really great work. You get 3 points for each upgraded water building, which is 6 points, and then you get 3 points for each upgraded shelter building, which is another 6 points. So 12 points for Lacerda on this one. I had really underestimated the value of scientists, I think. And then Earth contracts, this is phenomenal. We get 21 points for having completed these Earth contracts, which is just wonderful. Look at all of that. So 115 is our final score. That feels really good. It feels like we played really well there. So, we definitely could not have gotten a level 3 victory. Colony level 4 is non-trivial, but the colony level totally is 3. We absolutely did complete one of each type of contract. We got a private goal. We have 2 research tiles. We have 4 shelters. And we totally beat Lacerda by, I would say that's about 10 points right there. So, hey, check that out. We did it. And we did it so much faster, too. That's definitely helpful to the rest of my day. Man, On Mars is a pretty good game. That is going to be it for us for this one. Thank you all so much for watching. I should have said this at the beginning of the series, and I probably will say it at the beginning of the next video, but I feel like I should mention. This mod was free. For playing, for us playing this mod does not put any money in Vital Lacerda or the game production company's pocket. If you would like for there to continue being good board games in the world, spend some money on some board games. If you play a thing on Tabletop Simulator or Tabletopia or whatever, any of the online things that do this thing, and it totally rules, consider buying a physical copy of it because the people got to eat. My understanding is that making board games is a pretty low margin business. We do not have a bunch of fat cats living high off of the ignorance of the consumer here. This is a bunch of people making labors of love, so support that. And also, I feel like this is a good moment for me to thank you all for supporting this labor of love with your views and comments and likes and stuff. Come back next time, later today. There's going to be at least one more. to see if maybe we can push to even higher heights. And we'll see you then.